welcome, and thank you very much for checking out this video. So today we're going to cover ancient cosmologies and the four corners of the earth. This will relate to the cosmology you see pictured on the screen, which is outlined in the Book of Enoch in great detail. The cosmology is also found hidden in plain sight on the dollar bill. So to give you an idea of what we're going to cover, first we're going to look at some ancient cosmologies from around the world, looking at examples from different civilizations and cultures in different places all over the earth. Next we're going to look at some models featuring four quarters, also from around the world. And finally we're going to look at how Enoch's cosmology is represented in popular culture, including in some movies as well as some prominent board games, which will lead us into some interesting material. All the music used in this video will be listed in the description, and I also humbly encourage you to share and mirror and copy or redistribute anything that I post on this my YouTube channel, as well as on my website, The Narrow Gate, thenarrowgateweb.com. So you have my permission to share it, and I very much thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Without further ado, let's get started. So first we're going to cover some ancient cosmologies, which you see listed here. I'm just going to go down the list one by one, and note that the pace of this section is going to be relatively slow, so you have a chance to see and soak in all the images and cosmologies that you see on the screen. So it'll be mainly just pictures and less of me talking. So let's get into this. So first of all we have the Mayan cosmology, which shows four quarters within spherical heavens. We have the Navajo model, which is very similar. We have the Sumerian model, which also features a pyramid with steps. Babylonian and Pre-Babylonian models, which likewise feature pyramids with steps within a spherical heaven. William Warren, an author of several notable books on ancient cosmology, wrote the following about Babylonian and Pre-Babylonian cosmology. Considering the fact that in the cosmology of the ancient Egyptians, Persians, Indians, and Chinese, we find the same strange notion that while the terrestrial horizon is everywhere circular, the Earth is nevertheless foursquare. I was recently, after years of mental resistance, brought to the full conviction that the seventh stage pyramid was the form under which the Babylonians and even their Sumerian predecessors conceived of the earth, considered as the abode of the living men. We have the Egyptian model, which features 4 corners and a celestial sky that's circular. Along with, of course, pyramids that are built according to cardinal directions. Have Indonesian temples, which are built with square bases and circular tops to resemble the square earth and circular heavens. We have the Chinese cosmologies, which also have a square in the middle and a circle on the outside. Same goes with the Japanese cosmology. Vedic and Hindu cosmologies are very similar. And as you can see from the Kala chakras, there's a square within a circle. This is similar to the Tibetan cosmology. As well as the Mongolian cosmology. And the Nepalese cosmology. Another model is the Nordic cosmology, Yggdrasil, which, although it shows a spherical model, circle, you can see on the second image that it could be depicted as having 4 corners. This depiction is very similar to a biblical model of a throne with a firmament on top. That's 2 inverted pyramids. In the Bible, we also see Ezekiel's temple described as having 4 sides, like a square. And in 2 Kings, we see a description of the steps of Ahaz, which describes the sun rising according to steps on a pyramid. Cosmology, which is usually depicted like this. Models like that, however, forget 2 very important verses. point to Isaiah 40:22 as evidence that the earth is a circle, but that verse too is misrepresented. Also has numerous verses describing the sky as a structure or a ceiling. As well as describing the earth as a flat plane. Also describes the sun and the moon swimming in an orbit. Another cosmology with an uncanny resemblance to Enoch's cosmology is the Greek or ancient Hellenic cosmology, which also features a spherical top heaven as well as a vault of heaven resting on pillars above a flat earth. This other sketch of the biblical earth by an unknown artist also shows the earth with four corners, with a pyramid or mountain in the middle, with the luminaries revolving around the circular heavens above. The pyramid or mountain we see in the middle of the earth in that model can also be found in the model of the earth resting on a turtle, which originates from India and China. The model of the earth resting on a turtle is something of a running joke among the flat earth skeptics, but something that goes completely unnoticed even by flat earthers is the prominence and importance of the pyramid in the middle of the earth, which resembles many other cosmological models we've seen so far. So as we've seen so far, the ancients were clearly in agreement that the earth was square with circular heavens. What lends even more credibility to this is the fact that many megalithic structures built by the ancients with square bases are perfectly aligned to the motion of the luminaries. Needless to say, the ancients were clearly far more intelligent than most give them credit for. Next, we also have plenty of cosmologies that, although they don't show the full cosmology, they do depict four quarters. So we have the Aztec Codex Fejervary, first of all. Then we have the Aztec calendar, or so-called calendar, which seems to be more like a map of the heavens, which also has four corners. see depictions of four corners on charts by the Aborigines as well. The symbol for Earth is four quarters within a circle. And we also see four quarters depicted by the Templar cross, which is very prominent with some of the rulers of this earth who sit at the Vatican. We also see this cosmology depicted in movies, such as Game of Thrones, with a pyramid surrounded by a ring. And we also see it in the movie The Wrath of the Titans. So there's also some board games in contemporary culture. Ludo is a very old game that's been around for a long time. that shows a very clear depiction of a square with a pyramid in the middle. Monopoly is also a square where people go around. Chess is one of the oldest games. There's a lot of symbology with the 8x8, the 88. But chess has been around for a long time and is very symbolic in Freemasonry with the black and white checkerboards, the symbol of duality of this earth, and it's depicted in the game of chess. The square earth and the 88 are clearly very important in Freemasonry, and with that in mind, it might be interesting to note that the obelisks and domes at the Capitol Hill in Washington, as well as in the Vatican, both align to 88.88 degrees. conclusion, ancients all over the world built megaliths aligned to cardinal directions and constellations, thus demonstrating their deep understanding of the cosmos. As evidenced by scriptures and megaliths that still stand today, the ancients were all of one accord, that the earth was square and that the heavens were circular. The cosmological knowledge the ancients possessed has been hidden and suppressed from the public to keep us ignorant of how this realm actually works, thereby making us pawns at the mercy of the ruling class who use this knowledge against us. Needless to say, without the right cosmology, it is impossible to truly understand what is going on in the world. This is why unraveling the cosmology outlined in the Book of Enoch is so important, as it unlocks a catalogue of truth about how this magnificent realm works and how the oppression over us can be brought to an end.